It's time for Comeback Sports with Brandon, the Coach Perry, and Pat, the Shot Caller Flaherty. Here we go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Comeback Sports, our weekly talk show regarding 10 of the hottest sports topics of the week. And folks, we got a jam-packed show for you this week. Obviously, the big game coming up, the NFL Super Bowl is happening on Sunday. We got a lot of topics about that game as well, along with a couple of other sports topics that we're going to sprinkle in there for the 10 that we always talk about. But folks, this is going to be a great show. Make sure you stick around for the entire episode. Once again, folks, my name is Pat, the Shot Caller Flaherty. I'm joined by my partner, Brendan, the Coach Perry. Brendan, what's happening, buddy?
What's up, Pat? Yeah, like you said, we've got an exciting show planned. Some great topics. I know the next 2 weeks we're going to have an amazing show because there's just going to be so much to talk about in sports. So let's jump right into it. I'm excited.
Absolutely, my man. And then, folks, if you're watching this show, if you're liking what you see, make sure you subscribe to Comeback Sports on YouTube. And then in addition to that, you can also follow Brandon and I on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are at the bottom of the screen. You can see it right there. So make sure you check that out as well. But we're going to get right into it. The National Football League Super Bowl is happening this Sunday. We're going to do a positional breakdown for which team has the edge in a couple of the different positions. So, Brandon, we're going to start off with you talking about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm lucky first that I get to talk about the quarterbacks because obviously we've talked about it on the show before, and I called it the GOAT versus the baby GOAT. And obviously Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. You have two of the greatest quarterbacks in the game right now playing at an all-time best, playing really hot. You obviously have two of the best offenses in the game too with all the weapons that you have on both of these offenses. So either way, and I've always said it in the past, I love offense. I'm an offensive guy. So seeing both these two teams, I can't wait to watch a Super Bowl. But if I had to pick a quarterback and go, if I'm going to, debate who I'm going to pick between these two, I'm going to have to give the nod to Brady. I'm really going to have to give the nod to Brady over, with all the experience. I know it's pretty shocking. With all the experience, though, and the arm strength, here's the thing, and here's the difference for me. I'll take the experience and the game knowledge over Patrick Mahomes' athleticism right now. And I think that's the one thing that Patrick Mahomes definitely has over Tom Brady is obviously the athleticism. He can get outside the pocket and move around. He can run the ball, and he obviously changes the game because he can throw on the run. But I'm just giving the nod slightly to Tom Brady. This is not like a huge difference here because I know people are going to be like, whoa, this is amazing. But I'm just giving the nod slightly to Tom Brady. And like I said, it's with the game experience, the game knowledge, those 6 Super Bowl rings. He's been in the moment. He's not really going to slouch. I know Patrick Mahomes has been in 1 Super Bowl, but it's just different. I'm pretty sure there's nothing that's going to shock Brady. He's seen it all at this point. He's ready for this big moment. And like I said, that game experience and that game knowledge is going to go a long way. I'm just giving that nod slightly to Tom Brady.
Very interesting. I was going to say Mahomes has been there himself, so I didn't think it was going to be as big of a lean to Brady as you're talking about, but very interesting point. I'm going to talk about the offensive line and, who has the slight edge there, and I think it's the Tampa Bay Bucs, mainly because the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line is really banged up. I mean, they went into the playoffs not having Mitchell Schwartz. He's normally their right tackle. He's been out since week 7, I believe, with a back injury. And then in the AFC Championship game against Buffalo, Eric Fisher, the starting left tackle, tore his Achilles. So you don't have your 2 starting left tackles. And then we just found out a couple of days ago, their backup center, Dan Kilgore, is possibly part of COVID tracing, so he might not be able to play. There's still a chance he could, depending on how many negative tests he performs. But if you don't have your top 2 tackles, if you lose your starting center, you don't have your backup center, you are in real trouble. So even though Mahomes, like you mentioned, very athletic quarterback, he can kind of escape pressure pretty easily and get out of the pocket. With that Tampa Bay Bucs defense, I'd be worried a little bit if I were the Chiefs. with regards to their offensive line. Meanwhile, the Bucs offensive line has been outstanding this year. Ryan Jensen's had some problems with shotgun snaps and so forth, but other than that, they've been really good. I think Football Focus had something. They're like a top 5 offensive line this season, at least statistically. So I'm taking the Bucs offensive line in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, hey, just quickly on that, I know JPP saying he had no idea who Dan Kilgore was. So I thought that was funny. I mean, he's just throwing a little slight out there because he obviously knows who he's going to be going up against. But I agree with you. You know, having those injuries is big, and I think that's really going to affect the game. And I think Mahomes is going to have to be at his best with those backup linemen. But I'm going to go with the skills positions now, and we're going to battle that out. And this is really a tough one. I mean, this is probably just as much of a toss-up as the quarterbacks was, to be honest. Yep. And so I'm going to go slightly with just a slight nod. Once again, just a small nod. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs because they've just got it all over the place. I mean, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Travis Kelce, I think are their 3 biggest weapons that can, honestly, every time they touch the ball, they can score. Travis Kelce has been, from pro football, rated the highest rated tight end in the game since 2016, which I found was pretty amazing this past week. But I think that says a lot too. He's pretty much uncoverable is what they're saying. And I kind of agree with it. There's only certain guys that are going to be able to cover him, especially on that Tampa Bay defense. And then good luck trying to stay with Tyreek Hill and McCole Hardman. These guys routinely run over 20 miles per hour. So good luck. I mean, you're going to have to get on your scooter to stay with them. And so I'm going to give the nod to Kansas City, even though Tampa Bay's got plenty of toys to play with.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay's probably got a little bit more depth at the skills position, but I think Kansas City's top guys are outstanding. And there's a chance that Sammy Watkins comes back for the Super Bowl as well. And as a third receiver, Sammy Watkins is a very good third receiver. We're going to now go to the defensive front 7, and I'm going to take the Bucs. Yeah, you look at their defensive front 7, their linebackers have been playing outstanding in the playoffs. You know, Devin White, Levante David have been great. Then you look at some of their pass rushers. You got Jason Pierre-Paul, like you mentioned, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh in the middle. I think their front 7 is going to cause a lot of damage, even though I think the best front 7 player in the game is Chris Jones for the Chiefs. He's probably the best player out of both teams as far as front 7 players are concerned. But I think the best unit for the front 7 is going to be the Bucs. There's a lot of talent there. Devin White, as we've been playing, he could have been the MVP of the NFC Championship game, and he was great against the Saints in the divisional round as well. So, you know, ever since he came back, their defense looks totally different. They look so much better with White in there. So I'm going to go with the Bucs front 7 as the better of the two.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. Devin White has been amazing. I can't wait to see what he does in the Super Bowl. Moving on to the secondary. So we're going to battle it out with the secondary here. This is a toss-up as well. Seems like everyone I've had is a toss-up, but I mean, this is what happens when you get to the final 2 teams in the playoffs and it's the Super Bowl. You have the 2 best teams. You have all the best players playing at a high level. So this is a real toss-up. I think I'm going to give the slight nod to Tampa Bay. I know they're going to be getting back Jordan Whitehead, who was knocked out in the conference championship game, and also Antoine Winfield. So those 2 coming back, I think, are going to help out Tampa Bay's secondary. They definitely missed them in the conference championship. I think that's going to be a slight nod to Tampa Bay with the secondary, even though the best secondary player on the field belongs to Kansas City with Tyrann Mathieu. He's just an absolute ball hawk, can do everything you need. Could play the strong safety position, could play some linebacker if you needed him to. An undersized player that is underrated, I'd say, all the time, but he's probably the best player out of both secondaries on the field. But as far as a unit, I'm going to have to give the slight nod to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think you're right with that one. And I think, again, this goes to depth. You know, I think the Bucs have the best depth in the secondary, especially if Antoine Winfield Jr. comes back. I know that his ankle's still kind of banged up. So he said he's not going to miss the game. We'll see how effective he is with that ankle. So with that being said, with the Bucs actually winning most of those matchups that we just talked about, Brandon, who do you have in the Super Bowl?
Now, it's a tough question because, like you said, going with what we just said and even what I just said, 2 of the positional groups I picked were Tampa Bay. However, I'm going to go out and pick Kansas City to win this game. I think they've been playing extremely good, even with that backup line. And I know it's got a little bit more banged up in the conference championship, but I think Mahomes has really been adjusting his game to it. He's been playing great. You got to get the ball to these weapons, even if you get it to him on a little, I think, a short slant. Tyreek Hill can take it to the house. You saw the little reverse that they ran with McCole Hardman in the conference championship. That obviously getting him the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and he's still turning it into a 50 or 60-yard gain. So I just think they've got so many weapons that are playing at a high level right now. I think their defense is going to come to play. If Chris Jones can pressure Tom Brady, I think that is going to be a huge key to the game, because I think that's what most teams have been lacking right now. If you don't move Tom Brady off the spot and you allow him to sit there and to dissect the defense, he's going to find somebody open, especially with all those weapons. But however, if you could put some pressure on him and force him to move his feet and move the pocket and try to escape, which he's obviously not that good at his age and was really never good at, it's just not part of his game, that can help you and help your defense a lot and help your secondary a lot. So I don't know. It's going to be a toss-up. This is going to be one of the best games to watch recently for a Super Bowl. And I think it's going to be, like I said, when I've said it earlier, for offenses, this is going to be amazing to watch for both offenses. But I've just got to give the slight nod to Kansas City. Tom Brady might make me regret that, but I'm picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game.
Yeah, you know, us being Pats fans, you can never count Brady out. But I'm going to agree with you. You know, I think the Chiefs are going to win it. I heard on some podcasts throughout the week that, you know, the Bucs almost have to play completely on their A+ game to win the game, where the Chiefs can maybe play their B+, maybe even B- game and still win. You know, the Chiefs can give up 14, 17 points in the first quarter and easily come back. You know, if Brady throws 3 picks like he did in the conference championship game, the Chiefs are going to score off those picks, unlike the Packers. And then, you know, you mentioned Chris Jones. If Brady seems to struggle when he has pressure up the middle, that's kind of been his MO since he began since he first started for the Patriots back in 2001. So if Jones can create pressure up the middle against Brady, I think that's what the Chiefs are going to be able to do to earn their second Super Bowl victory in a row.